Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. You join us as we continue on the road to AEW Respect with another episode of Wednesday Night Dynamite. Looking forward to this one. It carries on a lot of the feuds that we've got going that we'll hopefully have the blow-off match at Respect. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. I think we've got 7 pre-show matches for a stacked edition of Dark and 15 segments on the show itself with a tag team main event for once, so haven't opted for the 6-man or the 8-man tag team is what's going to happen. So without further ado, let's get on with it. So we are in Villanova, Pennsylvania with just under 15,000 in attendance, and we start off Dark with Jungle Boy defeating Gabriel Kidd in 5:49 by pinfall. This brought a 66 rating, so Jungle Boy Jack Perry starting off with some good ratings. We had Layla Hirsch defeat Dani Luna in 401 by pinfall. This gathered a 33. After debuting on AEW Heels, we have Giona Daddio live and present on the pre-show, but looking forward to booking her. It's another one I felt like when she became available, let's steal her. And if you think we're bad for WWE talent at the moment, we should have 3 major stars. Well, major... Three main roster guys, I'll say. I don't want to say they're massive because they're not mega stars. But they've all held championship gold within WWE or NXT, and I'm looking forward to getting all 3 on board and debuting within the next 3 or 4 weeks. So looking forward to that one. Get your speculation in already. Some of you may already know if you've had an eagle eye. But 45, as she obviously is good friends with Heidi Lovelace, and of course she's in Team Kick with Evie. Jonah took on Ashley Lane and she defeats her in 8:44 with a surprise roll-up. This was a 54. Daddio with the 45 to Ashley Lane's 58. Ashley's actually been approached by the WWE in a 2-year written exclusive deal, given she's 36, and how I don't use her that often, so I felt like she's someone I didn't want on a written deal. So she will leave to go to WWE, and I think the first one that's went the other way, rather than the 30 or 40 wrestlers we've acquired from Stamford. Matt Sydal defeats Peter Avalon in 9:13 with a corkscrew moonsault. This gathered a 43 rating. And we had the Uprisings, Wardlow, MJF and Mark Quinn defeat Griff Garrison, TK Cooper and Brandon Cutler, where MJF pinned Griff Garrison, which gave us a 56, an impressive 96 rating for MJF. And in the main event we had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling as Absolute Ricky Starks defeats Joe Janela in 9:01 with the Buster Keaton. So good to see we're getting Ricky Starks up to 68 performances, close to that 70, and a 64 overall as we begin Dynamite, I believe, with a 100 segment. Yes. So in this one, obviously, Kenny Omega has went through the trials and tribulations of that fatal 4-way tag team match. Him and Michael Nakazawa didn't win, but neither were pinned. So Omega versus Cody is on tonight. It then leads to Cody coming out and he says, fair enough, you've managed to pick up that one, but I've managed to wangle it about and I've got you in a match that you'll like tonight. Unfortunately, there's one against me, which is not ideal, as we'll see myself and Hangman try and coexist to take on the Bucks. But Kenny, you're going to be in action and you are going to face Silver, Reynolds, Uno and Grayson of the Dark Order in a 4-on-1 handicap match. So this leads to Hangman coming out and he just says, well, we all used to be members of the Elite. Now we're all went our separate ways, we've all got our own little groups. Cody's got the New Age Horsemen, and I've got my posse. But yeah, we'll see if we can coexist, Cody, because I wouldn't mind taking that championship back and having a whiskey or 10. So big main event matchup tonight. Cody Rhodes, Hangman Page against the Young Bucks. Should be a mega. We need more folk in the main event, so it's not always the same connected parties, but hopefully we'll get there. Not too much pressure on the match with the 100 promo. Brodie Lee comes out, or Sir Brodie Lee comes out to do colour commentary for the next matchup, which gathered a 72, as we are graced by his presence. And it was for that 4-on-1 handicap matchup that had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat, as Kenny Omega defeats the Dark Order in a handicap match where he pinned Alex Reynolds with a one-winged angel. Kenny's head and shoulders above the rest, and a 66 rating follows. As much as he be against the odds here, you really can't vary those guys pinning Kenny Omega, so Kenny looks excellent. Good to see though, Reynolds and Silver starting to get mid-20 ratings, so it's gradual, slowly but surely. But disappointingly, John Silver has a little bit of a gimmick that's getting slightly stale. Then had more Dark Order action, so Brodie continues to be at the desk. And it was the women of the Dark Order, Abaddon, Priscilla Kelly and Anna Jay, so the tag team champions and one half of the mixed tag champions, Anna Jay, who defeated the impressive trio of Toni Storm, Kairi Hojo and Nikki Storm in 10:30 when Anna Jay pinned Nikki Storm with a handful of the tights. Overall, a 64 is good, really good actually, and I feel like it's a well-needed victory for the three ladies of the Dark Order. Nikki, I think, can take defeats, and obviously Tony's got a title match, so we didn't have her take the fall, and Kairi Hojo is an elite level, so I'd rather Nikki take the fall. One day we'll turn her heel, one day she'll be the best in the galaxy, but for now we're trying to build a division, and I think we're really seeing the benefits now of Abaddon, Priscilla Kelly and Anna Jay. Because Sir Brodie was at the desk, he obviously has been calling out Darby Allin for weeks, and Darby comes up on the Titantron and basically says, Brodie, for weeks and weeks you've wanted this rematch with me. I beat you before, and that's all fine and well. If you really want me to respect you, then sure, I'll give you that opportunity to try and defeat me. But AEW Respect, I want to face you in a match you're all too familiar with, and I want to face you in a dog collar match. So Brodie Lee kind of goes, nods, accepts, because obviously far bigger man, if he's got that chain around his neck, he's going to be able to pull Darby Allin about. So we're going to set up Darby Allin Sir Brodie Lee dog collar match for AEW Respect, who will pay respect to their opponent. 78. Then the promo here, it was just Cody Rhodes with the troops, Ace Austin, AJ Styles and Pete Dunne. Of course, this is the New Age Horsemen. Disappointingly, a lot of them struggled off script because Cody doesn't like scripts in his promos. But we need promos with them together. It's Cody wishing them luck in their various matches tonight. All are in action as they will face members of the British Empire ahead of that 6-man tag at Respect. Then have a backstage segment where Chris Jericho is alongside Jungle Boy Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt, and they talk about obviously the issues that Jericho's had with the Uprising, who then have started to kind of put their issues towards Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They basically say if they want to face them, they'll face them, but they kind of have a wee kind of like comedy segment where it's to Marco Stunt going, maybe we'll get somebody else instead of you, Marco. So maybe Marco Stunt's got a little bit to prove against the rest of the members or the alliance with Chris Jericho. So 66 here. Jericho obviously doesn't like being scripted, so again Marco Stunt failed because of that. We had the first of those matches that saw Pete Dunne defeat Tyler Bate in 12:09 with the Foreign Object. A 69. I just felt like you need to give Pete Dunne a victory, he's just debuting recently, and these two would put on a stellar matchup. So just a regular match, but still happy with it, and a 69. Also see there, one of my road agents, Doug Williams. What a man. Chaos Fury. Brilliant finisher. Then the announcers have announced to us that next week on AEW Dynamite, the week before the pay-per-view, we will see Samoa Joe battle the Machine Brian Cage, with the winner facing Prince Devitt for the TNT Championship at Respect. So a 68. Could Joe be one step closer to some singles silverware, I was going to say, but some success anyway, gold. Remains to be seen. Next up, we had the two veterans of the stables as AJ Styles defeats Trent Seven in 9:42 by submission with the calf crusher. A 63 here. It's going to be difficult to get AJ over, I think. He's obviously put people over, which is fantastic of him, but the declining physical ability is making it really difficult. But we'll use him as a valuable member of the roster, which he is with that fantastic psychology stat. Then here are a few words from Samoa Joe on Brian Cage. Basically, Joe says he's going to offer an impressive victory over Hangman Adam Page. He wants to continue that momentum, putting the machine in his place, and then taking that TNT Championship. He's had silverware, he's had gold everywhere he's been before. I keep saying silverware, too much football in my head. He's had gold everywhere he's been, and he's keen to make this the next one on his table. So 81 there. The final match was one between Ospreay and Ace Austin, and about they had great heat and good wrestling. Ospreay defeats Ace Austin in 13:53 with the Stormbreaker, so this ensures they don't get the clean sweep. But I felt these two would click perfectly together. I think he's good considering Ace is not over. We still have got a long way to go with him. So down the line, I think we could see mega things between Will Ospreay and Ace Austin. But as I say, Ospreay picks up the win. You don't get the clean sweep, and it kind of puts a wee bit of doubt whether they will continue to dominate. So overall, happy with that one. Just our main event to get ready for then. Devitt cuts a promo, just basically says he's battled Joe before, probably he's battled Brian Cage before, but it's an interesting proposition, and yeah, he's ready to defend it against whichever guy wins. He will be a keen observer for next week's match. Promo from the Young Bucks, and they just talk about their history with Cody and their history with Hangman. But it basically says both of them have decided to turn their back on the Elite. The Bucks have always been strong to the Elite, and they just want to get some momentum on their side to pick up those AEW Tag Team Championships yet again. So 85 for the promo. How will the match do? Will someone have the psychology to carry it? That's what actually has just worried me there. And, well, there you go. If someone had psychology, I think we could have maybe been easily 94-95. But exceptional matchup, as expected. Cody Rhodes and Hangman defeat the Young Bucks in 21:09 when Cody pinned Matt Jackson with the Crossroads. And 89, so you can clearly see, I know who are my main guys, and I continue to abuse them in the main event to get the good ratings, so we can keep boosting up, at least in the US. I want to try and get it to a stage when we can go for a TV deal, we can get the biggest TV deal possible, get as much money into the company as possible, and start basically funding developmental investments, everything like that. That is on the agenda. That's going to be months away because of that stupidity by me and the deal we lost in December, so we're still 8 months away, but stuff like this will help. But 96 for Nick, 92 for Matt, 94 for Hangman, 94 for Cody. God, if I had put Kenny Omega and someone in this would have probably rocked the 90s. Guess what next week's main event might be then. But overall, happy with that one. We'll see what we think of a main event for next week's Dynamite. But yeah, a few negatives there, but fantastic. Speaking of Kenny, him and Shinsuke get their revenge on Cody and Hangman. Of course, Cody and Kenny have been at it for a while, and Kenny gets the last laugh with the V-trigger on Cody Rhodes, and Kinshasa on Hangman Page. Of course, Nakamura and Hangman have had a little confrontation previously, so obviously that's the follow-up as we prepare for Hangman versus Nakamura in a week and a bit's time, but 82, and I think that could be a very good way of propelling Nakamura to the main event level. Showcase their popularity in 25 regions. I'm assuming that's across the board with Dynamite, because we don't broadcast across the world, because AEW Live covers the US and TNT have exclusive rights, so we can't use AEW Live, but that's fine. We'll be popular in other places and worry about the UK, etc. down the line. The 90s fantastic. And yeah, it's going to be weird. We're going to be like 86 popularity in the US and Canada, and then like 20 elsewhere. So we'll cover a few things. AEW heels. So we had a promo from Mercedes Varnado. We had Hikaru Shida defeat Camille. We had Maki Ito and Yuka Sakazaki defeat Indy Hartwell and Tay Conti. We had the meet-up between Heidi Lovelace and Gianna Daddio. We had Team Kick defeat Ali and Ashley Lane, obviously jobbing Ashley out before she leaves, and Saraya defeated Cassie, although there was a 3-on-1 backstage assault on Lana Austin, and that was by Sasha Banks, obviously Mercedes Ornado, Britt Baker, and Chelsea Green. Fantastic reviews for the show. It's good to see. Ospreay needs a break, so maybe we shouldn't give him that match up there. And let's have a look then. So Abaddon now resides in the Northwest. Hangman says Abaddon has charisma. Cody Rhodes says Matt Sydal doesn't connect with the fans. Chris Jericho says that Tyler Bate's good in the ring. But overall, 3.00 for Dynamite. That's really good, actually. That's very good for Dynamite. We don't usually score those ratings. So delighted with that one. And yeah, just to give you an idea of what I mean, we're over 85 to 83 in the US, and then you go to like India, we're nowhere. I mean, we'll get there, it's just going to take a long time to get to Titanic. But I just want to quickly give that example. If I just take Chris Jericho, so if he's 93 over in the States, you see he's over in Canada, and then you see there the rest of the world, Mexico, British Isles, where basically if you wrestle on Dynamite, you're not going to be over in most of the world. But if you wrestle in Lightning, you're broadcasted everywhere, so you'll be a lot better. So, averse to that one. I don't want to scroll down because there may be some spoilers down there. Who can we use that is on the other brand? Well, Cody's on both, so he should be. He's not over in the Mar teams, but you can see there's some places he is over, some places we are completely building him up out of nowhere. So yeah, even people on Lightning, because he's obviously in both. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. As I say, maybe we don't get there eventually, but as long as we have a good journey along the way, and as I say, it's been a heap of fun this save, absolutely fantastic. But I can't seem to put it down. So cheers for watching, much appreciated. We'll head on and book some Lightning now. So as always, good day, good night, senorita, senora, whatever the word is. That was a terrible outro. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.